Make no mistake about it, we are living through a war on truth. And as every war does, this one has also resulted in many casualties. At what stage are body bags laid at the feet of Trump and his propagandists like OAN, Newsmax and Murdoch's Fox, and his high-priced liars like Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Lou Dobbs and Tucker Carlson, just to name a few? When is it time to acknowledge that this war on truth, this war on reality, is responsible for its casualties? Let's get into it. How sad, yet simple and easy it must be to believe all scientists, scholars, historians, economists and journalists have devoted their entire lives to deceiving you, whilst a reality TV star with decades of fraud and exhaustively documented lying along with his propagandists on what essentially equates to state TV are your only beacons of truth and honesty. A Twitter feed was released a few weeks back by a nurse by the name of Jodie Doring, who wrote, "I have a night off from the hospital. As I'm on my couch with my dog, I can't help but think of the COVID patients the last few days. The ones that stick out are those who still don't believe the virus is real. The ones who scream out for a magic medicine and that Joe Biden is going to ruin the USA. All while gasping for breath on 100% Vapotherm. They tell you there must be another reason they are sick. They call you names and ask you why you have to wear all that stuff, because they don't have COVID, because it's not real." James O'Brien, a well-known LBC radio presenter, often says when discussing the lies surrounding the Brexit debate, "I have contempt for the con men, compassion for the conned." I find it hard to be so compassionate, because it has become evident to me that many of Trump's supporters yearn for the lies. They want to be lied to, because they want to live in a world removed from a reality as it's comfortable and safe. However, when I hear stories like this, I can't help but tear up. I can't help but feel for these people riddled with so much fear and hatred that they spend their last moments in disbelief, not understanding or believing what is happening to them, because they've sealed themselves in an echo chamber of lies and disingenuous falsehoods. And as a result, people are dying by the hundreds of thousands. Over 250,000 Americans have already died, many of which were led to believe that this virus was a hoax, that it was a political ruse to take down Trump, that masks are a political statement, that isolation doesn't work, that a shutdown was politically motivated, that come November 3rd, the virus would magically disappear, that you just needed to be tough and not let it dominate you. Lies, all lies. The Republican base has for a long time fed on a diet of lies, a diet of half-truths and alternative facts, and they've become the casualties of this war on truth. And it's not just the pandemic. Listen to this Trump supporter who called into Rush Limbaugh's show.
"Trump and you are all we have left, Rush. We've spent our lives voting for these people because they're not them. And we just can't do it anymore. No one stands for us, Rush. Only you and Donald Trump. God forbid, what do we have left? I love my president. I am not a revolutionary, Rush, but I will die for my president."
This is hard to listen to. This is a true believer who feels he has been lied to, and in many ways he has, just not in the way he understands, and more importantly, not by the people he believes to be doing the lying. This is a man willing to lay down his life for another man who does not give a shit about him. A man who, according to a Cornell University study, was the largest purveyor of misinformation about COVID in the English-speaking world. Trump doesn't care about this man. He's lied to this bloke and millions like him, much like the GOP and their right-wing propagandists have done for years prior. And right now, an estimated 40% of Americans are either unwilling or unable to accept the reality that Trump has lost the election. This is the culmination of a disinformation ecosystem decades in the making. a disinformation system fundamentally built on convincing conservatives that you can't trust other people. You can't trust government, you can't trust the universe of knowledge and academia, you can't trust science and the scientific community, and you certainly can't trust the media. You can only trust the conservative that leads you at that point in time. Think about it. The same conservative who voted for John McCain and Mitt Romney, in more cases than not, also likely voted for Trump. Try and square that round peg. And this is exactly what a cult does. It tries to cut you off from other sources of information outside of the cult. Now, I'm not saying that the media is without bias. I'm not saying that the government doesn't lie or that scientists can't get things wrong. However, on the whole, those institutions are more or less working in good faith. And it appears America's population has had a divorce, and one side got the custody of all reliable sources of truth and reality. The left has its own echo chamber, absolutely, and they can often be detrimental to progress as they spend too much time focusing on identity politics and investing in a corporate power structure that ensures the status quo of things like wealth inequality. And that has certainly driven people to the right and people on the right to the far right. But the left is attached to reality. They believe in science. They acknowledge that things are not perfect for some sections of the community. The right, however, well, they live in a universe completely untethered to fact. A world where COVID isn't real, a world where Trump won the election, a world where climate change is a lie, and on and on. And they are there living in that world because of the echo chambers they have built for themselves and because of the diet of lies they consume, administered by propagandists and charlatans. Trump is not the problem. He is the inevitable result of a mythical universe created to ensure the average conservative is unwilling and unable to consume facts. These are the casualties of this war on truth, this war on reality. And although I find it hard to show compassion for the conned who appear so willing to be lied to and so hungry for affirmation, they relish provable disinformation, I have come to realize that I was never the target of these conmen. They were the mark, and they will, unless reached, continue to live detached from reality, arguing against the merits of climate change, driving a dagger into the heart of democracy as they scream about falsified elections, and cursing the hoax virus as they lay in a hospital bed, gasping their final breath. Contempt for the conmen and compassion for the conned, for they are the casualties of this war on truth. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe and hit the bell so you stay up to date with all of our videos.